We are live here to chat about not tonight's episode of Suits, but last week's episode of Suits. It was like 5 days ago, and then there's a new one in another 2 days. And we just wanted to get this in because the last thing we'd want to skip is the season premiere of Suits and reviewing that. So I just got back and I'm completely mentally in the wrong time zone. Shana, say hi, is still in the wrong time zone and also in an airport. She just kind of got done with San Diego Comic-Con. She's actually in the process of traveling back from San Diego Comic-Con. And we're like, perfect. You're in the airport. I'm jet lagged as hell. Let's talk about Suits season 8, episode 1. I almost said season 1, episode 8. You can tell I'm pretty. What you can't see under these piles of like makeup I've got on, or like the dark circles and the airplane, dry skin and all that sort of stuff. It's the worst, right? But let's chat about Suits while we can in between boarding announcements for Shana. Shana, I'm really excited. This is so cheesy, but I'm really excited because this is the first time in a while that I have had the opportunity to ask you to rate the episode. And everybody watching live, or if you're watching later, comment in the chat down below. If you're watching live, definitely type in the chat. And we'll talk about it as well. Rate the episode on a scale from 1 to 5, which, I know for Shana's actually seen some other episodes this season other than just episode 1. So we're not rating all of season 8, just episode 1. What would you rate it on a scale from 1 to 5? 1 being terrible, I hated everything about it, and 5 being it was fabulous. It was what was it? Season 6, episode 15, level of perfect. There was one season that had episode 15 that was so good. What would you rate it?
I'm gonna break it down.
Yeah,
if we look at it without any new people,
yes,
okay. It was a solid 4.
Okay.
If you add that other element in, it's a 2.5 or a 3.
Okay.
Every time she was on that screen, I was like, oh Jesus fuck.
So Shana is, of course, talking about the new character that was added this season, which was named Samantha Wheeler, or Sam for short, which I'm sure we both have a lot to say. Jumping in the chat, Victoria says, yay, the girls are back, heart. Now, I mentioned that I'm pretty jet lagged because I just got back from London. While in London, I actually got to meet Victoria, and she's even lovelier than you would expect. It was fantastic. We got to sit and have lunch and chat all about Suits, and it was just so great. Victoria, I would also love to hear you rate the episode on a scale from 1 to 5 while you're there as well. And everybody else watching live, just jump in, tell us your thoughts, ask us questions, tell us what you liked or disliked. Shana, you knew this was coming. You knew this was coming. I'm so sorry. This is going to sound like not a compliment, but for me, this is a compliment. I aggressively didn't hate Sam. I'm strongly ambivalent, which is as close to complimenting a newbie as I can get. Now, I know the show and I know that could turn around in a heartbeat, and I could come back here eating my words and be like, oh my God, Shana, you were right and I was wrong. She's awful, she's terrible, whatever. But no, she wasn't that bad. On paper, at least. I mean, I think that I have certain preferences on acting styles that maybe don't line up with the acting style for this character. I don't know. It's kind of yet to be determined. But on paper, just judging by her lines, it's a little cheesy. It's a little textbook female Harvey-ish. But Harvey's a cheesy character. This show has cheesy characters. I didn't hate it.
Look.
But you did.
No.
So
let's get into this.
Yes.
First of all, yes, it sounds like we can at least agree the acting is horrible. Can you at least the acting is not good? It's not.
I would say that it is pretty. Here's the problem. It's a good thing and a bad thing. Suits, for an assortment of reasons, has had some fabulous guest stars. Suits, for a cable show in its 8th season, that's not ratings aren't out the roof. This isn't Game of Thrones, whatever. Has somehow lucked out to having some incredible guest stars. They've had people from Game of Thrones. They've had people who are playing main villains on these huge, movie level act, all this sort of stuff. Not even to get into the level of like they've had some high level athletes and stuff guest star on the show, but I'm talking about acting talent. They've had some very strong guest stars, and I feel like it's set the bar really high for like guest stars, recurring, etc. And that said, they've also somehow, even when getting like almost no name level actors or actresses, have lucked out to having some great ones. Like at the time that the actress who played Jenny in season 1, Vanessa Ray, when she was on there, she hadn't really like, correct me if I'm wrong, she hadn't really made a name for herself necessarily, like she did on Pretty Little Liars. They had the one I often reference is Melanie Papalia, who played like Mike's Donna. She played Amy, and she was, these are like actors and actresses who don't necessarily have like this huge following or like a huge filmography, and they just happen to be great. And I think that the bar was set so high that we forget that this is a cable show with just like recurring actors and actresses. And this actress has had some criticisms of her acting, but I would say that it's about the level of acting that if we weren't previously spoiled with maybe some pretty fabulous recurring people, it's about the level of acting we would expect.
I disagree.
Okay, go off.
I mean, it's just like I was saying on the preview, and I can like get into it a little bit more now, obviously. Like, it's just very wooden. Like, the scene, even just where she gets announced, like her first scene, which first of all, I can finally say specifically, that's what I was talking about how freaking comical it was that they were trying so hard to make her female Harvey. Like the boxing thing, really. But even in that, like she's supposed to have this long history with Robert Zane. And there's nothing there. Like there's nothing there. It's just she's saying lines. And the way that she played that scene with Robert, who she like knows, versus the way that she was in the scenes with, people she's never met, like Harvey, like it was the same. Like you need to see, like if I have a history with Cammie, I should be different. There should be a different layer with you and me than if we were doing this with somebody completely different. And that's not even acting. That's just like realism.
Yeah, it felt like when she was being introduced with every character, it felt like an introduction to where like I didn't get the sense of history with her and Zane either.
Which you need
Jumping into the chat, a lot of it, sorry to interrupt you, but what I'm about to reference you'll like because the chat's agreeing with you. Victoria in the chat, who by the way is apparently a different Victoria than the chat is Victoria, but the Victoria I met is Vixter on Twitter. This Victoria is different Victoria, but we've also chatted with her a lot in the chat before. Anyways, all that said, Victoria in the chat says, I would give it a solid 3.5. I didn't hate Samantha. She was okay-ish. The acting, though, is meh. Everything felt forced. And she agrees that the boxing scene was awful. Fan Friend says, a 4 for me. I didn't mind Samantha except for the boxing scene. Everybody seems to hate the boxing scene. Loved Katrina, though. Katrina, yes. Amanda Schull, I think, is a fabulous example of what I mean by the show being, like, spoiled by fabulous actors. Like, when Amanda Schull as Katrina was first introduced, I don't know if they knew that she would be around forever. I didn't know that she would be around forever. And I don't know that Katrina Schull as well. Like, she wasn't, like, like, they had, again, like I said, they've had, like, Game of Thrones actors and all this sort of, like, big-name people on before. And I don't think Amanda Schull was, like, like this huge, like A-list, whatever, but she like came in and like made this show hers. And I love that. And I love her. And I by no means love Sam. And I don't have any horse in this race when it comes to Katherine Heigl because I don't really know anything about her. I didn't watch Grey's Anatomy. I think I've seen like a rom-com she was in 10 years ago or so. And that's about it. Right. But I just don't see her acting and think like, oh, that's blowing me out of the water the way I was blown out of the water by like Katrina's level of nuance and the way Amanda Schull has been able to play really well against Mike Ross, and she's been able to play, kind of hold her own against Donna, and there's these fabulous scenes, but she's also had a lot of time to do that, and she's a really good fit for this show, and maybe Katherine Heigl needs some time to become a good fit for the show. But if you take the acting out of it, I think Sam could be interesting. It's almost like the absence of bad things. There's like some things that they didn't do with Sam that they often do, because they've introduced female Harveys before multiple times. This is not a new thing, which is annoying.
No,
but
it's not.
It's not a new thing, but it feels like whenever they've introduced female Harveys before, there's some very specific trademark things that they do that they didn't do with her. And I like that they're like, whether it's coming across at all or coming across as forced, I like that they're trying to give her this like, I don't give a shit about this firm attitude, not in the I'm gonna take you all down way, and not in the like I'm gonna like hit on whatever guy's around way, and not in the like
yeah,
try to get in and try to get whatever. She's like she's kind of this sort of like chilled out, like she doesn't really care that much. Like, she wants her career or whatever, but she's not like, oh, I'm gonna kill the world to get what I want. But then she's also not like, I don't know, the over personal vendetta against people thing, it seems like it's been overdone. So I guess I like the impersonal thing that they're doing with her, where like she doesn't vibe with them, she's not family, she's not trying to be, I don't know, am I trying too hard? Probably.
I think you are, but it's okay. I know you love women, and I do too, but sometimes I cancel them. But you know, and the other problem, it's interesting, first of all, that you mentioned Katrina, because like when she was first introduced, all I saw in Amanda was that chick from Center Stage who does this a lot when she talks, when she's acting, and I didn't care for that. But she's grown so much over this series, because I think it's because she's such a good fit with this cast, that anything that she might have been lacking, like the cast gave her, and anything that, and she gave a lot to the cast too, I think. I don't think that's gonna happen with Heigl. I will say, like, it could be worse. I definitely agree with you that there are things that they could have done that would have made it a lot worse. But I mean, if you look at the conflict that they're setting up between her and Alex, first of all, I'm not invested. Like, you know, it was not at all surprising at the end of the episode, after Harvey promised name partner to Alex, that Samantha's demanding it from Zane. And so that right there, like, I'm not interested.
Like, this is a very
not interesting
cookie cutter, because it's not like they've done this exact storyline before, but it's a very predictable and clean cut storyline that it's like, okay, they set it up in the first episode. These two are going to go against each other for name partner. Let's see how it goes. I think I agree with you in that the reason I'm not invested in who gets name partner is because I'm not invested in either one of those two characters. I don't
give a shit.
One,
I don't give a shit.
I couldn't care less.
Like, I don't, and that's the thing. They never, Alex and Sam are very similar, though, in the sense that, you know, he supposedly got a history with Harvey that we never knew about until he was sprung on us, and she's got this thing.
And honestly, I'm not on his chemistry with Harvey either.
Yeah, I think it's improved, and I think I relate more to that character than this one. But again, like, it's just so, like, they could have done so. They didn't need either character. One could argue, actually, that they needed Alex, because between losing both Gina Torres and Meghan Markle, they needed somebody who wasn't Whitey McWhite. But then again, that makes the whole bringing Katherine Heigl in even worse, because she is, in fact, Whitey McWhite.
Well, Katherine Heigl's not replaced. So I can list for you who's like replacing each person in the plot line. So Zane is, not to like say that Jessica could be replaced, but Zane is replacing Jessica in the plot line, in that he's the one with the most experience, the most authority, the most sort of like confidence in himself. He's the one that can stand up to Harvey and like not take no for an answer from Harvey and that sort of thing. Like, hold his own against Harvey and then some. We trust him more than we trust Harvey's experience in many ways.
Yes.
So he's not replacing Jessica. He does not have the same personality as Jessica, but he fills that function in the structure of the plot, right? Yeah. Alex is replacing Mike. That, of all of the replacements, is the most clean-cut replacement, the most literal replacement. He comes in with this, like, kind of unprecedented history with Harvey, and we're supposed to believe that he's, like, Harvey's little protege, and Harvey wants to get him. And it's extremely obvious and literal that he's replacing Mike, almost to the point of, you know, they're going to give them the, like, bantery movie reference dialogue and have them butt heads and stuff. It's about as literal as they can get without being super lit. But, you know, in terms of, like, you mentioned the fact that the show by a billion, like, in a million ways needs more diversity. That's cool that we, you know, like, we're okay, we got that there. Like, we have somebody who's not, as you put it, like Whitey McWhite, whatever, you know, so like,
that's
okay, cool.
Yeah.
So that's cool. Whatever, like, and you know, we've had one season of setting up some sort of like dynamic between him and Harvey. With Mike, we had 7 seasons of it, so I'm not going to expect them to have that kind of dynamic yet. What gets interesting is when you get to Katherine Heigl, because who she is replacing is possibly the least literal of all of them, because she is not replacing, well, I don't think she's replacing one specific person. I think she's replacing a set of people, but the most, like, it's closest to she's replacing the function Rachel would have served, in that she is somebody who's wanting named partner. She's the one who's fighting for it, sort of thing. But if you notice, and I think both of us spoke about this, how Amanda Scholl's character, Katrina, almost felt a little rebooted. She felt like she was speaking a little bit more, like her dialogue was a little more robotic. They kind of changed the functions she's filling. I would say Katherine Heigl is sort of replacing, or Samantha Wheeler, whatever. Her character is kind of replacing the plot function, both what Katrina was doing, what Rachel was doing, and we'll just go with those, where she's sort of this like up and coming new lawyer, but not quite as new, to where it'd be more believable that she'd want named partner, because they had to bump her up to being equal with Alex, right? So it's sort of changing it, and you kind of have to massage the plot a little bit to like frame it that way. But that's why it's like, at least they are continuing to put a woman in that role. And then I think we're like, if we're going to go the like diversity thing and go quite literal, I'm super convinced that they're gay coding this character. Like, I'm so convinced that she's gay. I hope so.
But do you really want Aaron and friends writing a gay? Like, because
Yeah,
I
absolutely.
don't. I don't think they
absolutely
can do it. I don't think they can. I mean, if you look at, I don't think they can do it. I don't think.
It's not that hard. Give her a girlfriend. She'll be fine.
No, but I mean, if you look at, look at some of what they've done so far with their, like, I just don't know that it would be remotely respectful. And the other thing is if this is a character that we're supposed to dislike,
I would rather there be gay characters that are like written imperfectly, because I think every character on this show is written super imperfectly. There are huge written, than for them to leave gay characters out entirely. And it's almost like a gaping hole that they've left gay characters out entirely, to the point where there was one villain, which that's the whole other thing. There's a long history of them gay, Hollywood in general, gay coding villains, and like saying that they're gay, but then having them be villains, and so it's like sketch on sketch layers or whatever. There was one villain that they had a while back that they like said after the fact that he was gay, but then it wasn't at the time. It just felt very like I'm ready for the show to try to take that on. They've had a bajillion heterosexual proposals at this point. They've had a bajillion heterosexual couples. Almost all of them except Harvey and Donna I haven't liked, so I'm certainly not confident in their ability to write a heterosexual ship. So like, hell, why not make her gay?
That's fair too. And
I feel like in terms of gay coding her, they all but put her in flannel in terms of the stereotypes, which this show thrives on stereotypes, so I have no problem with them using stereotypes pleasantly and appropriately and non-villainously for her.
And I also, if we go back to acting though, this is not an actor that I want playing a gay.
Interacted with men.
No, because I would like to see like well-played, well-written characters that happen to be gay than a poorly written, poorly played character that happens to be gay. But I mean, I guess I'd rather have that with straight characters too. I'd rather have that with all the characters. And that's the thing, like, you're talking about putting, like, the gays and the villains, like, I mean, she's clearly somebody that's technically, even though I don't buy it, being set up to be our villain in some sense. Because she wants
I don't think she's being set up to be a villain. I think she's set up to be
lying to everybody. Like, do you want your gays to be unlikable? I love the gays. The gays are...
See, I don't want gay characters to be unlikable, but I think that this woman was put in a position where, based on the role she's filling in the storyline, people's natural inclination to distrust any woman that they put around Harvey because he bangs all of them. And people will blame the woman for that rather than him. And the fact that apparently nobody likes the actress, except for I don't really know the history of that and why that is, and I'm sure there's a very good and valid reason for that. I just personally don't know it, and so all I can judge
Google it.
I don't. I mean, I could Google it, and I probably will if I actually end up like caring about her character enough. As it is, I'm just sort of like ambivalent. I'm like, oh, that's new. I'm ambivalent towards a newbie. I normally hate the newbie. She's just sort of there. Jumping into the chat, by the way. Victoria agrees that she's kind of disinterested in the Sam versus Alex thing. Fan Friend says she agrees that Katrina feels rebooted, but she remains the same in the way that we're only seeing a side of her. She remains the same in the way it's just we're only seeing a side of her that we haven't seen before. That's true. I loved the Katrina Donna interaction.
Yes.
Credit where credit's due. I think one of the things they did with Katrina and Donna was something I've been dying to see them actually do. It was something I'm pretty sure I ranted about it last season as well. How I hate when they'll have some sort of like, you know, tumultuous interaction between two characters and then not have a fallout, not have some sort of discussion about it afterwards. They had last season, Katrina kind of stops Donna from getting a certain promotion that Donna didn't want anyway, but Katrina didn't know it. And in this episode, they actually have them talk about it and like unpack it before making them Insta friends again. Loved it.
That was the best.
So many shows and they were so good. Yeah, go ahead.
That makes it a 4. Like,
yes.
Leave the other bullshit out, and that makes it a 4, maybe even a 5, because you have this situation. What I really like is Donna and Katrina have such very differing approaches to things.
Yeah.
And they were able to kind of both be the mentor and the mentee. Mm-hmm. And they were able to come to, like, see it from each other's point of view instead of being this, like, catty bitch thing. Like, it was amazing. That's why it makes me so mad that they even bring this Katrina character in to begin with, because they have so much material with what they already have. Mm-hmm. They didn't need something else. They have I'm
curious, but my question for you then is, and I fully believe you have multiple good answers for this, and I think most people who love the show do. So they brought in characters. They brought in sort of. They didn't bring in 3 new characters. They had 2 existing characters that are kind of brought more to the forefront because 2 existing characters left, and then a 3rd existing character left. So they brought in 1 new character. So as we talked about in our pre-show thing, the lineup is not any more crowded than last season. The lineup is actually less crowded than last season because we only have 1 new character and 3 have left. We just have, more prominent storylines for some of them. You don't seem to, and it seems like people in the chat, and I kind of feel this way too, we don't love this whole thing where it's like Harvey versus Zane, but through their 2 little underlings fighting each other. So you've got like Harvey and Zane being puppet masters up here, and they're like the big bad lawyers in charge, and they kind of work together, but they kind of butt heads, and they do that through sending their 2 little fighters out in the ring to fight each other. And that's the structure for maybe this season or maybe just the first half of this season. I'm ambivalent to that because I don't care about their 2 fighters. I don't hate this, though. You don't like it, and you kind of almost like aggressively don't like it, and I'm guessing it's because you have another storyline you would like to see, and I just kind of want to hear what that is, because I kind of know I'm going to like whatever you come up with better.
Well, I mean, I want to see more of Katrina and Donna. I want to see more.
Yes.
I want to see more of Donna that's not about Harvey. I want to see more of Donna that is about Harvey and being naked together.
Strongly agree.
They have all these existing storylines that they kind of like run up to a point and then drop. Yeah. So instead of like starting something new, like finish what you stop. Starting 100 projects and finishing 0 of them, you know what I mean? Start 1 or 2 and finish 100%. That's I think where I'm at. We're in season 8.
They didn't end Mike and Rachel well. So
I liked it. I think I'm like the oddball on that. I thought it was fitting for who they were and for where they were going. But that's the thing. We're in season 8.
Yeah.
Where the fuck is Gretchen? I kind of know where she is. But, let's pretend that we don't know anything about, like, where has she been? Why can't... And I mean, I don't know Loma Wright's schedule. I don't know Loma Wright's schedule. I don't know her contract. I don't know, maybe she doesn't want to do more episodes. Fine. But, like,
she got tired of everybody. It's understandable.
Where is this character? Like, people really reacted to that character, and then because Donna popped back over to Harvey's desk, which we all knew she was going to do eventually anyway.
Yeah.
Now it's like Gretchen doesn't exist, even though Lewis is supposed to have a secretary. Like Gretchen's become the new Norma, except that we know Gretchen. We never actually met Norma. It was okay that we didn't know Norma. It's not okay.
If Gretchen becomes the new Norma, not in that Gretchen would become off-screen character, because I want Gretchen very much an on-screen character. I think she is fantastic, but I would like if sometimes she just like disappears without warning, and so there's like this meme of like Lewis is like calling his like front desk or pressing the intercom or like calling for Gretchen, and she's just like arbitrarily not there sometimes. Like sometimes she's there, sometimes she's not. What hours does she keep? We have no idea. It's kind of Norma-ish. That would be kind of like, okay, so you brought up Donna. I want to talk about her.
Sweetie.
There was so much that I want to talk about for Donna, and I love that because I feel like she was integrated into a lot of storylines in this first episode, and that does not often happen for Donna, especially right in the beginning of the season. A lot of times we see her integrated into one storyline, and everything else she's just sort of like background, little like quippy dialogue, and we love her quippy dialogue, but we kind of want more for her. I love that she got a strong, serious plot line with Katrina, and also had two maybe more strong, serious scenes with Zane as Rachel's best friend, and kind of unpacking that and referencing that, and also had some great banter with Harvey as well, and some serious like pushback against him with his storyline. It was also good. I even loved the scene with her and Brian, and it was just
Craig from Degrassi. His name is not Brian. His name is Craig from Degrassi.
Craig from Degrassi. I never watched Degrassi, but I feel like every single person in the Canadian TV show has been in Degrassi. It's just
you have to watch it.
Is it Degrassi or Degrassi?
Degrassi. I think you've got to watch it. It's Craig. Like first start with Drake's like new music video that has all of them in it, because Craig's in that, and then watch the actual show.
I feel like Craig is there, or Brian's there, or whatever the hell.
Craig from Degrassi.
I feel like he's there because they lost Harold Grunderson somehow in the war.
Yeah, Craig is definitely Harold, except better because he's Craig.
Yeah.
Because I can keep like
the Harold. Like, is Craig just the literal new replacement because they don't have Harold anymore?
They probably. No, but like the Donna and Zane stuff was amazing. Like, right. I don't like, and that's the thing. Like they have that they can work with. Like why? The Donna and Katrina stuff was amazing. Donna and Harvey. Let's unpack this because I hate them both at this point.
It was vintage,
I am tired.
And I don't normally.
I am tired
because I see it as like regression of character. If like people are like, "Oh, the dialogue reminded me of season 1," I'm like, "We're past season 1." But I actually like. I don't know. Maybe I'm just too easy to please, or am I trying too hard to stay?
I'm tired.
I loved the fact that their dialogue felt very vintage. Season 1, season 2, bickering over, I'm going to listen to your calls anyways and all that. And I was like, oh, you guys are so cute.
No, but like, I'm tired. They're like, they act like a married couple in every way except that they don't live together and they practically never touch. And it's season 8. I'm tired. I'm so
They can't
tired.
have sex in the first episode, Shana.
I love them, but I hate them. Like, I'm just, like, you're supposed to save me from myself. Wow, shut up. Like, he really said that. Like, what?
Shana, he's obsessed with her. It's understandable.
Mommy, you told me not to do the thing, and I did the thing, and I got in trouble, which happens every time this happens, and why didn't you stop me?
I'll accept a lot of kinks for Harvey and Donna, but I wouldn't enjoy him calling her mommy.
But she acts like, that's the thing, she acts like some strange mother-wife stand-in. She's neither.
I think it was like he was kind of mad that she wasn't like mommying him around. And I think that was also sort of like him missing that sort of Jessica figure who tells him what to do. Whereas like in this case, Zane is sort of like telling him what to do, but kind of in a more like playing with him sort of way. And he didn't have like Jessica waltzing in being like, yes, no, whatever. And Jessica was very much like a mommy figure to him, like very much a mommy figure to him. And Donna's not going to do that. Donna's wifey, you know, like Donna kind of like gives him a piece of her mind and kind of gives that pushback. But when he says he's going to do this anyway, she's like, all right, we're going to do this. Like, here we go, team, you know, and they're very much a team. They're very much equal, and she's not going to override him. Whereas he and Jessica are not equal and have never been equal. Jessica always will override Harvey because she's better than him and smarter than him and more experienced, you know, like she's Jessica, she's God, right? And Donna's sort of God to everyone except Harvey. She's like an equal with Harvey. Like he's got a God complex. She also thinks of, like, you know, they're both like, they're up there being like God couple.
Yeah, but see, that's the problem, except that they're not a couple.
Oh, and but like, they're a couple.
Why isn't she riding him over? You know, why?
I mean,
like,
I'm tired.
I'm tired. I'm so like, no, because instead of the wedding resulting in those two hooking up, it resulted in Harvey asking Robert Zane out on a hamburger date. Like, what? I'm tired.
I mean,
I'll
believe that Harvey and Donna haven't had sex when I see it.
I'm tired.
When I see full footage of every second of them since the wedding, then I'll believe that they haven't hooked up then.
I'm tired.
They are too, because they've been spending all night hooking up.
It would be nice if they did.
I'm sure they would find it quite nice. Fan Friends is on your side. She says they haven't had sex. Okay, I've been over.
They didn't. Like the wedding ended and they started.
Everybody in the chat always agrees with you. I think you're right. I'm
awesome.
I think you're right, and I try to be optimistic, but here we are.
No, I like optimism, except I'm tired.
Understandable.
Like you're not sucked. Like I mean, I've been sucked in, but you're not sucking me in again. Like
Victoria in the chat says #Darby lol, and FanFred says we're going to get it. I'm a believer. She just doesn't believe they've had sex yet. I don't know. I mean, Donna looked pretty hot at the wedding.
Why was he talking about hamburgers with another man when he could have been talking about her?
I hear that's what the kids call it these days.
Hamburgers with Robert Zane equals sex with Donna. I mean, hashtag it.
Yeah, it's been that one, you know, that song the kids are listening to. I don't know what I'm talking about, Shana. I'm old too.
I don't know.
Okay, Stormy Wood says hi in the chat. Okay, so everybody watching right now, I'm really curious if you have any like favorite scenes or favorite moments or questions, or if you want to share your rating with us as well. Rating on a scale from 1 to 5, 1 being it was terrible, 5 being it was fabulous. I know a few of you did before. And then if you have any moments, which is kind of what I wanted to transition here at the end, if you had any moments that you're dying to see based on what they've set up for on the season. So I know Shana and I both talked about, you know, some things that we like that they set up that we're really interested in, like the Donna and Katrina stuff, and the, you know, like some of the storylines they've set up seem genuinely really interesting, including the Lewis one, actually, possibly, maybe. I don't know that he's told Sheila, but whatever. And then there's some storylines that we either don't like, or maybe we're just kind of ambivalent towards, or maybe we're kind of waiting. I kind of want to hear what you guys are wanting to see. Like, is there a specific moment you want to see? Do you want to see some girl power stuff with Katrina and Donna and Gretchen and, you know, who all else? Are you wanting to hopefully eventually get into the whole like Sam versus Alex thing? Are you excited that I know it's been teased that we are going to get like a new ship this season? Do you have any suspicions on who that ship will be? Do you think it'll be tied to Sam or Katrina, or Sam and Katrina, or, you know, what are you wanting to see? Stormy gives it a 3 out of 5. She says, I'm not loving Katherine Heigl on Suits. Sam thinks she can step up to Donna in this coming episode. Girl, that is not a smart move. Ooh, I kind of want to see her face off against Donna, though. I mean, I'm like the girl power, girls should get along thing, but I don't think all women are going to be like best friends forever. And like, you know, like not everybody's like me and Shana, you know. Not everybody gets along. Some people are like enemies. It's fine. It's chill. Women are complex. Shayna's covering her mouth, which is like international code for I've seen the next however many episodes and I know exactly what's going to happen. I'm gonna just leave you there on screen while you can't say stuff.
I was gonna say, like, my shitty airport Wi-Fi is probably gonna need a reset in a minute, so I might take 5 minutes so you guys can discuss like things that I can't, and I'll be right back. How's that?
Sure. I mean, we're just gonna discuss sort of what we want to see going forward, and then head out. But how soon do you need to reset your Wi-Fi?
I don't know. That's the thing.
Okay. Fan Friend says, really want to see that face off. Stormy says, more Donna and Katrina, please. I love them. Are you excited to see more Donna and Katrina?
Yes.
You know that we're going to see more Donna and Katrina. We're going to see you know what? We're going to cut it off here because Shana and I are going to be back in literally like 48 hours or like a little more than 48 hours to review this week's episode. And I don't want to spoil anything. And as you can tell by that cute little face, there are spoilers to be had. So
I have no.
Fan Princess called it Datrina. Datrina?
Yes. Yes.
Good ship name.
It's Dotrina, right? Like for dough for Donna, or is it Da?
It would be
or Diggo.
Datrina or Datrina.
So D-O or D-A? Da?
D-A. D-A.
Datrina.
So
okay.
Datrina.
That's our hashtag, Datrina.
It sounds better than Lutrina, which is what I was rooting for. Lewis and Katrina. I thought they'd be great. And then like we had the opening episode or the opening scene where it was like it seemed like it might be trouble in paradise between Lewis and Sheila. Lewis and Sheila have never been paradise, but it seemed like there might be trouble. And then there was Katrina there, and I'm like, ooh, I'm about to get what I want. And then they like were like, oh, just kidding, like in a completely asexual way. And I was like, all right, that's not what that means, but go off, I guess.
I was gonna say Lewis got asexual completely wrong, but we can talk about that some other time.
Words have multiple meanings, I guess. Who's to say?
No, like ace people, that's not their thing.
Well, I mean, like there's like asexual is like a sexuality label, and then there's asexual is like an asexual circumstance or an asexual relationship. I think. Correct me if I'm wrong. Not my terminology, not my pony, not my circus. But that's kind of how I took it to mean. I was just annoyed because I like Lewis and Katrina together, but whatever.
Mood. Yeah, that too.
I'm gonna be in my lane on that, I guess. I'll wait. All of Lewis's ships have turned out terrible, so like, why stop now?
Let's swerve. Yeah.
Yeah. Anyways, Harvey and Donna, 2 days. We'll be here to chat about it some more. Thank you, everybody, for watching and joining us while jet-lagged Cammie and airport Shana chat about Suits, and we'll be back very soon because starting this week and pretty much every week unless something like major comes up or the world ends, which is very likely, pretty much every week going forward for the rest of this first half of season 8 Suits will be around right after the episode, and you won't have to wait a couple days to chat with us about it. It'll be very soon. Also, what I think I forgot to do last time that I was starting to do, I'm wearing Bite Beauty Bramble. That's the color.
Good to know. Excellent.
Yeah.
Excellent.
Yeah. Just re-upping that trend from last season. All right, Shana, have a good flight.
Thank you. In like 7 hours.
Oh my God. Eat a lot of food. Drink.
I think I'm going to do 802 here in a few minutes. Like I'm going to rewatch it and at least start trying to recap it. Because I think our friend Lizzie is going to be here to keep me company in a couple hours.
We love Lizzie.
I know. I wish we could have done this like with her here, but she's not here yet. So,
Shana, are we going to like 802 better than 801?
There's a thing that I liked better than.
Is it Darby Sex?
You know, I couldn't tell you even if it was.
I know. I'm just over here sipping water, not tea, but from a teacup.
Fair. No, the outcome doesn't endear me to our new enemy anymore. I will say that.
Ooh,
but
does she go full villain? I'm ready.
No. I think we'll have a lot to talk about when it comes to women folk. I'll say that.
Yes. Okay. We'll save it. We'll save it so we don't spoil anything. Thank you, Shana. Thank you, Victoria, fan friend, Stormy, everybody watching now, everybody who's watching later. I will see you all in 2 days, and we will have 802 to chat about. Bye, guys.